The laughter in the room froze mid-air, hanging like a guillotine. My joke, meant to be harmless, had landed somewhere sharp and jagged. I had said with a teasing smile, "Well, if you ever get tired of me, I suppose there's always Mr. Handsome over there waiting for you." I hadn't expected the silence that followed, or the way his eyes darkened, a storm building behind the calm facade he usually wore so well. My husband, Samir, turned slowly toward me, his hands tightening around the glass of wine in a way that made the crystal shiver. "Is that supposed to be funny?" His voice was quiet, almost controlled, but it carried the weight of something far more dangerous than any raised tone could. I laughed nervously, brushing a strand of hair from my face. "It's just a joke, Samir." Everyone was. "Joke?" he interrupted sharply, cutting through the crowd's murmurs. His eyes were cold now, like a lake that had frozen over. "Do you think this is funny? Joking about leaving me? About someone else?" I felt the blood drain from my face. The room had gone silent, all eyes turning toward us, their curiosity sharp as knives. I tried to smile, to diffuse the tension. "Come on, it was just a little teasing, don't take it so seriously." But he shook his head. "No. You've been practicing, haven't you? Smiling like that, joking like that. It's not funny, it's betrayal." And in that instant, I saw the truth in his gaze. It wasn't anger alone. It was heartbreak. It was suspicion that had been brewing beneath the surface for months, maybe even years, and my careless words had ripped it wide open. I opened my mouth to deny it, to insist that nothing was going on, but the look in his eyes made my own heart seize. He didn't believe me. The guests began to murmur again, shifting awkwardly, but I couldn't hear them. All I could hear was the pounding of my own pulse and the weight of Samir's stare. Finally he spoke again, his voice low, deadly calm. "Show me then. Show me that it's a joke. Show me that I'm imagining things. Because right now, I feel like everything I believed about us was a lie." I swallowed, trying to keep my composure. "Samir, I promise you, there's nothing going on. I don't even know why you're saying this." He cut me off, a bitter laugh escaping him. "I've known for a long time, you know. The smiles you hide in the corner of your eyes when you think I'm not looking. The late messages, the phone calls you leave in another room. Do you think I'm blind?" My stomach dropped. The things he said. They weren't true, at least not entirely. But the way he said them, so sure, so precise, it made me question everything. Had I really been careless? Had I given him reason to doubt me? I swear, Samir, there's nothing." "Nothing," he echoed, his voice rising, shaking with something I couldn't place. Rage, hurt, desperation. "Nothing." He stepped closer, and the warmth that had always comforted me now felt like a threat. "Then why does your phone always light up at odd hours? Why do you get that look on your face when someone calls? Don't lie to me, not here, not now." Tears pricked at my eyes, and I hated myself for feeling afraid of him. "It's just work. It's just colleagues, Samir. I would never. You would never." His laugh was hollow, almost mocking. "You've been rehearsing that line in your head for months, haven't you? Just waiting for the right moment when I'd be weak, when I'd trust you. And now, I see it. All the little hints, all the times you've smiled at someone else like I wasn't here." The room felt like it was spinning, and I clutched at the edge of the table to steady myself. I wanted to shout, to scream, to make him understand, but the words lodged in my throat. The more he accused, the more I realized he wasn't just angry. He was shattered. And then came the moment that broke me entirely. His hand shot out, gripping my arm, and he whispered, almost too quietly for the others to hear. "I thought I knew you. I thought we were everything to each other. But maybe I was wrong. Maybe you've been living a lie." The weight of those words crushed me. Not because they were true, but because he truly believed them. "I swear, Samir, it's not like that." I cried, my voice trembling. "I love you. You're everything to me. Please, you have to believe me." He stared at me for a long moment, his chest heaving, his jaw tight. And then the most devastating thing happened. He turned away from me, looking toward the window as if he could escape the nightmare that had become our living room. "I don't know if I can," he said quietly, almost to himself. "I don't know if I can ever trust you again." I felt my knees buckle. I sank into the chair, clutching my hands together, trying to make sense of it. The guests had drifted away, murmuring excuses, leaving us alone. And in the silence, I could hear the ragged sound of my own heartbeat, a drum of panic and despair. "Samir," I whispered, reaching out to him. "Please, let's talk. Let's figure this out. I swear there's nothing." He didn't turn. The room was heavy with unspoken words, with accusations that hung like smoke in the air. And then finally he spoke, his voice almost a whisper. "Maybe it's too late." That phrase hit me harder than any slap, any scream, any argument. Too late. The idea that our love, the years we'd spent building, the laughter, the late-night conversations, the promises whispered in the dark, could be shattered by doubt, by suspicion, by a single careless joke. It felt unbearable. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to beg, to cry, to hold him, but he had already retreated behind a wall I couldn't reach. And as I sat there, trembling, I realized the truth. It wasn't just a joke that had caused this. It was the distance, the small betrayals of attention and affection, the quiet corners where suspicion had grown like weeds. Hours passed, or maybe minutes, and eventually he spoke again. "I need time," he said. His voice was low, exhausted. "Time to think. Time to figure out if what I feel is real, or if I've been living a nightmare all along." And with that, he left the room, leaving me alone with the echoes of our love and the shattered pieces of trust that I wasn't sure I could ever rebuild. I sat there long after he had gone, the weight of his words pressing down on me. I thought of the moments we had shared, the laughter, the tears, the dreams we had woven together. And I realized with a sickening clarity that love could be fragile, so fragile that a single careless word, a single moment of thoughtlessness, could threaten to destroy it all. By the time I finally left the room, I knew one thing. I had to fight for us. Not just for the love I felt, but for the trust one had broken, for the pain I had caused, for the man who had believed in me once and now didn't know if he could again. But even as I stood at the threshold of the hallway, waiting for him to return, I understood the cruelest truth of all. Love could survive only if trust could be rebuilt. And right now, that bridge seemed farther away than I could ever cross. The laughter, the joke, the casual words, they had all led to this. And I wasn't sure if our hearts were strong enough to find their way back. Yet somewhere deep inside, a tiny spark remained. A spark of hope that maybe, just maybe, time and honesty could mend what had been broken. And I clung to that spark, trembling, afraid, but unwilling to let go. Because if I did, I would lose him forever.